That year, my best year in music, the absolute definitive answer to what was the best year in music is... If music be the food of love, make videos about it. I think that's the quote. I didn't listen a lot in school. In today's video, I wanted to do something that was less reviewing bad content on the internet and more trying to talk about the good things in life. A great thing we can all agree on outside of things like movies, games, TV, etc. is music. Music has been around since the first humans could gargle noises and hit things with sticks, but that's enough about Machine Gun Kelly. Today, we're going to try and find the definitive best year of music, the undisputed best year of music, a fact in the world of music, right here on a channel that does nothing to do with music. Yes, this might be a channel that usually covers things like geek culture or terrible content, but I do have a small qualification up my belt. I have a degree in sound technology and digital music, and for those of you who've done degrees, you'll know that that doesn't mean an awful lot. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to pretend that it gives me the authority to speak on this topic. So interestingly, I put out on Twitter a little blast asking people what they thought the best year for music was, because I wanted to hear some other opinions outside of my own genius. Alex said a toss-up for anywhere between 2002 and 2005, but probably 2004. An interesting idea. Samuel Wolf has said 2015. We saw massive hits from Bruno Mars, Justin Bieber, Ed Sheeran, Little Mix, and loads more. A fine year, but maybe not what we're going for in this video. And of course, Ace Trainer Liam suggested the year 1765. A fine year for French composition. So inevitably, when talking about the best music that's ever been released, one of the names that always comes up is Max Martin. So a little bit of backstory for those of you who don't know who Max Martin is. Max Martin is basically a Swedish songwriter who's responsible for every big song that you've ever heard. More or less. So the songs you're seeing here are just the things that got to #1 in the top 100 Billboard listings. That's not including all the other songs that he wrote that charted. Songs like Baby One More Time, It's Gonna Be Me by NSYNC, I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, So What by Pink, My Life Would Suck Without You by Kelly Clarkson. These are all songs that you've heard, and if you haven't heard of them, then welcome out of the rock that you've been living under for the last 30 years. There's a lot of Katy Perry on here. You've got things like Teenage Dream, you've got Last Friday Night, Part of Me. I don't remember all of these songs, but I remember some of them being bangers. Some of Taylor Swift's biggest singles from the last 10 years, like Never Getting Back Together, Shake It Off, Blank Space, Bad Blood, these were all written by Max Martin. This guy's also won Songwriter of the Year 11 times at the ASCAP Pop Music Awards, and is also responsible for I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys. An absolutely gorgeous pop tune that we've all heard, and a verifiable banger. So whilst researching for this video, I also stumbled across a couple of articles that had cited some studies, which they'd done on trying to find the best years in music. This is one article I found here from this year from Paste magazine, which I've never heard of before, but they suggested that some of the best years in music were these: 1969, 1971, 1994, 1995, 2000, 2012, 1997, 1999, 1998, and 2001 being the top 2. So with a couple of those in mind, I'd quite like to go through some of the top 100 Billboard listings of some years that I've got in mind, as well as some that this list has suggested, and we're going to decide between us what the best year is. I already know, but I'm going to educate you as we go on. So this is the Billboard year-end Hot 100 singles of 2001. So this was the top of the list that we just saw from Paste magazine. Obviously, I have to try and be impartial here, but I don't actually recognize a huge amount of the songs that are in the top 10. So Drops of Jupiter by Train, I definitely recognize. Thank You by Dido, obviously recognize that. Independent Women Part 1 by Destiny's Child, I also recognize. Going through some more of these, You Remind Me by Usher, I remember that. Angel by Shaggy, definitely remember that. Drive by Incubus, I actually once played this for someone's first dance. Miss Jackson by Outkast. Bootylicious by Destiny's Child. I'm Like a Bird by Nelly Furtado. This is quite a strong year. Never Had a Dream Come True by S Club 7. Do you remember S Club 7? What a time for the world with British pop acts. Now, there's obviously going to be a handful of things in this list that some of you guys might recognize that maybe I don't, but this so far has been an alright year, but I don't think it's going to be one of the ones that I would put in my top list. So the second of the years on that list that we saw was 1998, so we're going to go through that one now. #1 being Too Close by Next. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, I remember what that was. So Too Close by Next was covered by Blue, which is one of those songs that then blew up in the UK in the early 2000s, because Blue was another British pop boy band group thing that everyone loved, especially me. It was actually the first concert I ever went to, and I had a good time, damn it. You're Still the One by Shania Twain. Truly, Madly, Deeply by Savage Garden. I loved Savage Garden growing up. They had some really good songs like I Knew I Loved You, Truly, Madly, Deeply. They have some bangers. If you've never heard Savage Garden, go check them out. No 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 by Destiny's Child. Get Jiggy With It by Will Smith. Banger. We've got a lot of Usher songs. Everybody by Backstreet Boys. I mean, that's definitely a banger. Actually not recognizing a huge amount of these. I'm sure I would if I heard them, but just looking at them, not ringing any bells. Spice Up Your Life by the Spice Girls. Now, in 1998, the Spice Girls actually broke up, I'm fairly certain, so the world was thrown into shock. So 1998, not as good as I remember it. I certainly don't think I'd put it in number 2 for the list, but that's why we're here doing my list and not using Paste's one. So one of the suggestions from Twitter was 2015. So looking at 2015, Uptown Funk, very good. Thinking Out Loud, Took Over Weddings the World Over, See You Again, Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. This is already quite a strong year. Sugar by Maroon 5, Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon, another one that's played in every pub and wedding the world over. Blank Space by Taylor Swift, a couple of Weekend tracks. Hang on, this is a really strong year. Take Me to Church by Hosier, great track. Meghan Trainor, Hotline Bling by Drake. I don't particularly like Drake, but I like Hotline Bling. What Do You Mean by Justin Bieber. Was that 2015? I could have sworn it was earlier than that. Hello by Adele, Bitch Better Have My Money by Rihanna. Okay, fairly good strong year. This is only the top 50. And as we go down, I'm starting to lose faith now. Hit the Quan? I only know that because of Super Mega putting it in memes.
Hit him with the Quan, dude.
And then some wobbly tracks near the end. So a pretty good start to the list. There's some really big bangers in this, but would I put it as number 1? Arguably not. So another year a lot of people talk about is 2005, and I'm already seeing Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani, and I can't tell what kind of omen that is. Let Me Love You by Mario, Since You've Been Gone by Kelly 1-2 Step, I remember this. Gold Digger, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Candy Shop, Don't Ya, Behind These Hazel Eyes, Disco Inferno? I'm assuming that's not Burn, Baby Burn, Disco Inferno. Don't Funk With My Heart, Mr. Brightside. Everyone knows Mr. Brightside. Beverly Hills, I remember that. It's weird going through this because how old was I in 2005? I was 12 in 2005, and I remember all of these songs very clearly. A lot of Kelly Clarkson's Rich Girl by Gwen Stefani, My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas. 2005, a strong year. Scars by Papa Roach, God, an emo banger. 2005 was kind of like the dawn of when a lot of emo bands were coming out. Some was like 2003, some was 2004, but 2005 was when it really started to hit its mainstream stride, and we got some of the first albums of a lot of emo bands that we know and love. 2 songs from American Idiot in one screen with Holiday and Wake Me Up When September Ends. God, I loved Green Day back then. Collide by Howie Day. That's such a wonderful acoustic song. I love that. This is such a good year. Speed of Sound by Coldplay, Mockingbird by Eminem. What else have we got? Ordinary People by John Legend. Didn't realize that was 2005. Good God, time moves fast. Numb Encore by Jay-Z and Linkin Park. I mean, that's one that really brought Linkin Park into the zeitgeist of a lot of people that would never have heard of them otherwise. Not gonna lie, I think 2005 might be one of the sort of runners-up for this kind of era. Maybe I have to look at 2006 as well. Okay, so here's 2006. Already Bad Day by Daniel Powter. Temperature by Sean Paul. Don't remember that. Well, Beautiful by James Blunt. Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. Is 2006 another banger year? Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake and Timberland. Oh, The Fray with Over My Head. I love that song. Buttons by Pussycat Dolls. I forgot that Pussycat Dolls existed. Rihanna with SOS. I remember that. That was the first song that introduced me to Rihanna. I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. 2006 was a good emo year. Straight under that, Move Along by the All American Rejects. Oh, I love 2006. London Bridge, not so hot. Danny California, How to Save a Life. How to Save a Life is underneath Over My Head. Didn't see that coming. Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. Every Time We Touch by Cascada. God, that feels like one of the defining trance songs of the 2000s, doesn't it? Everyone's heard that in a club at some point. Photograph by Nickelback. Oh my god, 2006 and 2005 have already been exquisite. Sugar We're Going Down by Fall Out Boy. I mean, 2006 is already very strong, although I do seem to be ignoring all the songs in between all these bangers. I hope I've not made a mistake here. Okay, 2005, 2006, two very strong years for music. But can they top what I believe is the best year in music ever? Now, I will qualify this statement because a lot of people might get upset that I'm not choosing something from like the 60s or the 70s with real genre-defining music, whether that's things like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, The Beatles, for goodness sake. Whilst those are amazing pillar bands for those decades, they were in a mire of shite. I don't know if you've ever gone back and tried to listen to some of the things that charted in the 60s and the 70s, but they're fucking awful. So to satiate some of that appetite, no, there's not going to be any years from the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s as my best year in music. So I present to you the best year that pop music has ever had. A year where almost every song is some kind of banger that we all still remember to this day. More or less. That year, my best year in music, the absolute definitive answer to what was the best year in music is 2004. Let's look at the evidence. Already, number 1, Yeah by Usher. Name a more definitive Usher song than Yeah. You won't, I bet you can't. That's right, you can't. 2004's already the best. If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys, This Love by Maroon 5, The Reason by Hoobastank. I was in a long car journey with Bumblecooker the other day and we were listening to Now That's What I Call Music 59 and Hoobastank came on. And when Chloe didn't know what it was, I looked at her in abject horror. You don't know this song? I cried. No. It was at that moment that I kicked her out of the car and drove the rest of the way by myself. Hey Ya by Outkast, arguably Outkast's best song. Confessions Part 2 by Usher, Here Without You by Three Doors Down, a big part of the How Six Songs Collide mashup from Norwegian Recycling. Mwah! Someday by Nickelback, that's actually my favorite Nickelback song. Tell you what, I'm gonna die on a hill here. The meme of Nickelback suck can go to hell. I think it's people hopping on a bandwagon because it's a funny meme. Nickelback have had some absolute bangers. How You Remind Me, Someday, Photograph. Someday is easily one of the best songs that they ever made, and that's adding to why 2004 is the best year in music. My Boo by Usher and Alicia Keys, I remember that one. The First Cut is the Deepest by Sheryl Crow, actually a song by Cat Stevens that was re-released, but it still counts. Numb by Linkin Park. Do you need any more evidence? Numb by Linkin Park. She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5, White Flag by Dido, Leave Get Out by JoJo, Milkshake by Kellis. Am I making myself clear? Meant to Live by Switchfoot from the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack, that's another good one. My Happy Ending by Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne being part of some weird conspiracy theory now where apparently she's been dead for 10 years. I don't know. Lose My Breath by Destiny's Child. My Band by D12. Do you remember D12? I still don't know what the fuck D12 was, but I remember My Band. That's a great song. Fuck It, Don't Want You Back by Eamon. And then his girlfriend did a response one where instead of I don't want you back, she said, your sex was whack. The 2000s was a wild time. Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet. Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park. That's my favorite Linkin Park song. This is a year of timeless classic songs. Yeah, maybe some of them aren't the best, but you remember all of them. These are the kind of songs that you hear in any of those retro throwback clubs that play cheesy pop music. These are the kind of songs that on a long journey where you've had nothing but modern music to listen to, hearing one of these will brighten up your journey. And so that is why 2004 is the best year for music ever. Do you disagree? Fine. Then let me know in the comments what year you think and why. I've given you a comprehensive list of certified bangers from 2004, so give me your comprehensive list of years and I will judge those in the comments. Like I said, slightly different video this week, but I thought this was a fun topic to cover, so if you'd like to see more of these, also let me know in the comments, and also give a like and a subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. The video's over, goodbye!